Okay, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Nida Fatima, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechatronics. Welcome you to the day two-week online faculty development program on fostering ethics, moral values, and character building in technical education, sponsored by AICT New Delhi. So phase one has been started from 23rd November to 5th of December. It's a great pleasure to introduce today's eminent personalities, Dr. Shobha Ma'am, Professor and Head of the Department of ISC, Sri Venkatesh College of Engineering. We are very happy to have you as a resource person, ma'am. For this session, I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am is going to talk on the topic cultivating ethical skills and behavior in organization. Before starting the session, I will have a brief introduction of her to the first batch of VTU TEQ IP in the year 2009 and Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science and Engineering from Reva University in the year 2018 under the guidance of our beloved principal Dr. Suresha Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering and Dr. Kiran Kumari Patil, Professor, Reva University. Ma'am has started her career in Sir M. Vishweshwara Institute of Technology, later worked as in Acharya Institute of Technology, and currently she is serving as professor and head of the Department of ISC. She has qualified Karnataka State Eligibility Test 2017 successfully. She has 15 years of teaching experience and 5 years of research experience and has published papers in 10 national and 10 international journals like IEEE, Springer, International Journal of Intelligent Engineering Systems, Inter Science Journal, to name a few. She is an active member of various professional bodies like ACM, TIE, ISTI, IETI. She has received Excellent Award 2020 and Student Project of the Year 2020 by Institute of Scholars. Also received National Award for Faculty in Higher Education for Karnataka South Region from Global Research Foundation on the occasion of Teachers' Day this 5th of September 2020. Along with that, she was invited for a panel discussion on women, her journey on a rope, balancing professional and excelling in IEEE conference on returning mothers, rediscovering the lost talent pool. This is a brief introduction of Dr. Shobha and ma'am. Ma'am, you can start the session. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, can I get the confirmation whether my screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible.
Okay. So, very warm good afternoon to all of you. I wholeheartedly welcome all the participants for the two-week AICT-sponsored online faculty development program on fostering ethics, moral values, and character building in technical education. So again, this is the day 2 and session 4. So my topic will be on cultivating ethical skills and behavior in organization. So before I move on to the topic, I would just like to first give out the outline, the topic what I'll be covering. So first and foremost, before I start my actual topic, I would like to set the context right so that all the participants will feel comfortable with respect to the topic what I have chosen. Next being the self-assessment. Okay, we will take up a self-assessment individually, all of you, including myself. Then cultivating a learning culture. So what is, how to cultivate a learning culture in any organization for that matter. We will look into that. And very important, organizational culture. Since we all are from faculty fraternity, we are working in organization where teamwork comes into picture, collaborative working comes into picture, which is directly relates to the performance of the employee engagement. So all these things play a very crucial and vital role in the organizational culture. So we'll see what exactly it is. And next, definitely the types of culture which generally exist, and what are the key points or what things we need to adopt in order to have that kind of culture in our workplace. We will see that as well. And since even behavior also is one of the key word in the topic what I have chosen, we will see what are the top 7 behavioral skills required for an individual to groom and become an efficient individual in the workplace or in the life. And finally, I will just close with the closing thoughts. So setting the context. So I just don't want to jump, all of a sudden to the topic. So I want to make all the participants, because again, everybody is a faculty member. So I would like to set the context and make the participants feel more comfortable. So as the saying goes, a picture is more effective and impactful than thousand words. And everybody do agree with this particular statement, and definitely it is worth. So I'll be showing few pictures to all of you, which is self-understandable and at the same time having a lot of impact, what the image reveals or the picture reveals. So we'll take up one after the other. The first one is this. Will you be truthful with me, please? Sorry, that's against medical ethics. 80% of our business conduct is immoral or illegal. I want you to fix the remaining 20%. How to stump a corporate lawyer, whether legally or ethically. A career in politics, should I think about ethics? Run this by the legal department, but run super fast so the ethics department doesn't see it. We've got to draw a line on unethical behavior, but draw it in pencil. So I hope these few pictures were more understandable than saying paragraphs together with respect to what is ethics, what is behavior, and what is organization culture, should we adopt or not. Okay, so I think with those pictures, few impactful pictures, I have set the context appropriate for the participant, as well as me being the resource person to deliver the content further based on the topic what I have chosen. So before that, definitely we'll take up one self-assessment. I think we have to assess ourselves, at least not every day, maybe in a frequency of 15 days, once in 15 days, we have to assess ourselves. Because otherwise, I think we will forget ourselves. We will not think about ourselves. We will be completely left out, only dedicated to others or delivering or rendering the services to others. So I think assessment is required for all of us. So let's quickly take up the self-assessment. So you can question yourself, and whatever answer you want to give, just keep it to yourself, because it is only an assessment, internal assessment of yourself. What do you believe in? So what, according to you, you believe in? Who do you care about? So this could be applicable with respect to your workplace, whether you're career oriented, you're family oriented, or you would like to dedicate or deliver 50% equally both in your career phase as well as in your family space. So who do you care about? What motivates you, to start every day fresh, a new beginning or a new day in your life? What motivates you? Whether it is your family member, your parents, or it is your superiors with whom you work in your organization, or it is your team members who belongs in the same level, your colleagues. It could be your colleagues, your friends, or whoever it is. Who motivates you ultimately? Definitely, it could be our own children as well. It could be students or children. Okay, anybody for that matter. So you have to ask yourself, what motivates you to be present in this current situation? Are you a spiritual person? If so, what is the time you dedicate for your spirituality aspect? Why are you really in the workplace? Because It will be completely wrong if you are in the workplace and if you're not delivering your best with respect to the objectives what the organization has set, towards you, what the organization expects from you. If you're not really delivering those, maybe in a phased manner, if the consistency is not there, if the performance is not there, then I think we have to question ourselves whether retaining in the workplace is really important, or if at all I retain, what is the best thing what I can give back to myself as well as to the organization. So think over, why are you really in the workplace? And most importantly, how do you differentiate between right and wrong? Because I think as individuals and as grown-ups, if we don't have this particular quality, which according to me it is the most significant one, in order to distinguish or have a distinction between what is right and what is wrong, I think leading a life in such pandemic situation will become very difficult for us. So choosing what is right, deciding what is wrong, what not to do, what to do, I think highly required from individual perception. And what is life all about? So are you striving hard to achieve something what you've already set as a goal, whether it's a long-term goal, short-term goal, what is it? Or, what is your life all about for you? How important it is, or whether it's not important at all. Your life is only dedicated for somebody else. What do you think? I think we have to answer in person, personally with respect to all these questions. So somewhere we can assess ourselves. Only then we can get to know what is the intent of our existence in everyday life. So, post the assessment, we will see what is, or how to cultivate a learning culture. So, cultivating a habit. So, as per the study or the survey, people say, or the researchers, they claim that cultivating a very good habit, it might take from 18 days to 200 plus or odd days, depending upon the amount of interest or the amount of dedication, commitment individual puts in order to cultivate that particular habit, and how well the individual will practice oftenly and more frequently in order to make that particular practice as a habit. So 18 days to 200 plus odd days. Okay, it's a huge time. Okay, so that is when we start saying that yes, I have one particular habit and I have cultivated it. So it's very important, you to cultivate a learning culture, because not every time wherever we work, the culture might be applicable for us. We need to adapt for the culture which has already been present in the organization. Take for instance anything. It could be an educational institution or it could be a corporate sector, but culture exists in each and every workplace. So cultivating that particular culture and adapting to that particular culture becomes very necessary. And the same thing, delivering to our students, because we all are faculty members. From the faculty fraternity, I think what knowledge we give with respect to culture and ethics or the behavior to our students, somewhere it will be reflecting in the outcome of our students' behavior. That is what I feel. So we'll just see what is this cultivating a learning culture. So ethics, yes. So I don't want to give a lot of explanation about what is ethics. So ethics is something about good moral values. It could be even the attitude or capability of deciding what is correct and what is wrong. A moral practice, I would call it generally as ethics. And behavior, it could be like any act an individual would perform, whether it is hurting others or whether it is pleasing others. It again depends on what sort of behavior is executed by the individual. So ethics, along with proper ethics, along with the behavior, appropriate behavior, will generally lead to the culture. Culture is again, an entity or a practice which is being followed, within a society or within a workplace where many manpower or many employees exist. Because in one particular workplace, if there are so many, different manpowers or different human beings from different social background or different diversity, then all of them working together by agreeing some norms, or the culture of the organization becomes very, very predominant here. So according to me, I say ethics and the behavior together gives you the culture. And this, once the culture is adopted at the organization level, and this culture can be adopted only by cultivating it as a habit, we can have a healthy organization or a workplace where everybody can live in harmony. So this is the main objective: ethics and behavior leading to culture, which in turn leads to a happy and healthy environment at the workplace where we all work. So, with respect to this graphical representation or the diagram, which you can see, the data is interpreted and used to meet the requirements and follow rules. So this is, the compliance or the adherence with respect to the culture. So all of a sudden, the culture will not be evolved, at any organization level. So some sort of interpretation needs to be done with respect to the data. It could be the data with what the organization works, or it could be the data with respect to what backgrounds, different geodiversity backgrounds of employee work. So it could be data with respect to anything. And interpretation of that particular data is essential, because the requirements will be different, okay, with respect to different scenarios or different circumstances. And sometimes not all data interpretations might be favorable, and it will not be, relevant to the scenarios. So data collected and analyzed at prescribed intervals, because all of a sudden at the organization level or at the institution level, if a major rule is applicable or if a major norm is being adhered, then how well it is being received or perceived by the end receivers, that is nothing but the employees of the organization, it becomes very, very important. So that is the reason, it's very essential to analyze at different intervals, how the culture or whatever was being introduced freshly or innovatively, whether it's really working as per the desired outcome or not. So it's important to collect the data, analyze it, and definitely if that has been analyzed and rectified at different intervals, it would be really an added advantage. And the data function are rarely integrated into decision making. So all these collection of data from various sources and analyzing these data which is collected will definitely help the organization to take or to make decisions. So decision making is a key point behind all this, or in order to have a compliance with respect to the culture. So once this culture is being set up or it's been framed, then it is definitely applicable to the organization or the stakeholders involved in the organization. So organizational change, the management strategies. So definitely it's a hierarchy. You have the top level management, then then the middle level, managerial roles, and then the employees, which take the last layer in the hierarchy. So we have different management strategies, how well it is being planned, how well it is coordinated, how well it is executed, and how well it is disseminated, so that each and every entity present in the hierarchy gets the information based on what strategies the organization have taken for the benefit of the employee, so that there will be a continuous employee engagement and the performance also will be increased in a positive manner, as well as consistency will be there, and very important, retention rate will also be there. So since we all belong to the faculty, engineering college, institutions, we know how important retention rates are. It really, it is one of the very most important parameter for any of the assessment, in fact. So planning and coordination is important, implementation, assessment, communication and feedback. And it is a complete process, like how we have well-defined process for the teaching learning process. Similarly, we can think of even cultivating a culture in the organization level as a closed loop or a process with the feedback, so that any changes, any additions or deletions needs to be happen, it should be done in the form of a loop. And next, yes, transition should be there, because all these strategies, whatever is being implemented, if there is no transition, then definitely we cannot adopt to the culture. So definitely data is used for making informed operational and pragmatic decisions and changes. So as I was mentioning, decision making is the key thing where the organization culture is cultivated, and it's been uh, asked to the employees to follow based on the strategies what the management do. And again, data is collected and analyzed regularly, and data is definitely used by all the staff level. As I was mentioning, it's in hierarchy, and a lot of stakeholders involved in that hierarchy in order to successfully run the organization. So it becomes necessary, how the data is being used with respect to all the levels by all the staffs. And routine questions and inquiry, and this is encouraged because it's not that only about performance or the perks or the assessment or the appraisals. It is an healthy living or healthy being in order to deliver its intended objectives or the goals to attain with respect to the organization. So this I would like to summarize with respect to the cultivating a learning culture. So moving on next, we'll see what is organizational culture. So yes, organizational culture is defined as the shared values, the attitudes, and the practices that characterize an organization. Is the personality of your company, and it plays a large part in your employees' overall satisfaction. So somewhere, it all depends on what kind of values, core values are developed at the institution level or at the organization level. What are the attitudes and what are the best practices, which are followed frequently, or monthly basis or yearly basis, whatever it could be. What are the benefits which is being given for the employees so that the employee is satisfied, and the employees' engagement and the performance is definitely, taken care of. And it's a personality of your company as well. As the saying goes, the employee is happy, definitely the employer also will be happy. So it goes in the other way as well. It is not that just the employer should frame certain strategies and just dump on the employees and expect some high performance. No, it is a win-win situation, in both the sector or on the both the side, where employee as well as employer collaborative engagement becomes the need of the hour. That is what I would like to say, and that definitely leads to satisfaction with respect to both employees as well as employer. And according to a recent Glassdoor study, so Glassdoor is again a portal where it's a recruitment portal, in fact, where a lot of freshers look for job opportunities. So they say that 77% of adults would evaluate a company's culture before applying to an open position. And now, it's become a trend. Now everybody, it's not the conventional way of looking for, advertisements with respect to recruitments, and they then try to apply in the conventional way. No, everything has become digitized. Digital marketing is the era with respect to today's transformation, and everybody is choosing or forcibly or willingly or unwillingly, everybody is forced to work from home. So work from home culture was there, definitely it was existing from years, but it was a practice, which was very much followed in the Western countries, but now slowly it's been adopted, in fact, even in developing countries also. So 77% of adults would evaluate any company's culture before applying to any open position. So everything, brand ambassadoring yourself or promoting yourself, everything is happening over the internet or social media. And before the candidate applies for any particular job, the candidate will definitely do a lot of survey, with respect to what sort of company it is, who are the core team members, what are the services rendered, what are the perks or the benefits offered to the organization as well as to employees. So all these things or all these factors the candidate will look into before applying for a job. And 56% rank an organization's company culture as more important than compensation. So this is like the company culture or the organization culture takes more precedence when compared to compensation. So that is what it is. So moving on to components of organizational structure. So there are some routine ways of communicating. So there are some de facto standards of communication. So there are some protocols set as well. Then norms shared by individuals and teams. So what are the nomenclatures or the rules and regulations which individuals as well as team members need to follow and stick on to it. Dominant values held by an organization. The people need to understand which place or what is the heights of the organization, where exactly it stands, and what are its values. So that becomes essential. And guiding philosophy for management's policy and decision making. This is important because, again, the policies which are made at the management level, not everything might it might not be successful until unless there is a continuous feedback and there's a decision making and there is correction adopted in it. So, guiding philosophy, some sort of moral guidance is required even for the management policy as well. And rules of the game for getting along in the organization. So, I hope all completely do agree with me that there are certain rules of the game, with respect to any organization or any institution. There are few rules which need to be followed. And those rules, it is to be followed in order to see to it that the routine or the time what we spend in the workplace, goes fine without any hiccups or without any hurdles. So, and climate of the organization. So this is nothing to do with the physical climatic conditions. So this is with respect to the organization, climate of the organization, based on whether it is what to say, it is a tight schedule or relaxing days. It depends, the based on the workload or the deliverables what you are intended to give or report to your senior most manager or the immediate next hierarchy. So it depends. It varies as well. So moving on to the next layers of organizational culture. So based on the previous slide, what we can figure out is there are some layers of organizational structure. There are some assumptions, shared assumptions, then which shared assumptions which leads to cultural values, and these cultural values lead to the behaviors, shared behaviors again, which is applicable even for the management level, authority as well as to the employees or in general, to be more specific, applicable to all the stakeholders. Then the shared behaviors definitely they signify the cultural symbols. So these are some of the layers of organizational culture. So how exactly the culture emerges or emergence of culture? We will just see the phase. So top management agrees on shared assumptions of human behavior, as we saw in the layers of organization culture. Shared assumptions was the first phase, in fact, and the top management develops a shared vision for the cultural values, and this in turn, is given for the behaviors, that is employee behaviors. So employees behave in ways that are consistent with shared values and assumptions. So however the employee behave within an organization, it should be streamlined within the boundary of the shared values and the assumptions which is being given or which is being drafted by the top management policies. And behaviors in turn, give out the results, the desired results or the intended results. It could be, and the results could be, individually, or it could be in the form of a group as well, teamwork as well. So it could be the rewards in terms of financial performance, or it could be the company's overall benefit. It could be market share or employee commitment. And this in turn it leads to culture. So strong culture emerges, which is in fact depicted even with respect to employee as well as employer. And traditions are maintained. Some traditions which is being followed. Best practices, what we say, that's been followed, and we generally say it is a culture or it is a trend followed in so and so institution or organization. So it becomes a tradition, and this has been maintained. And socialization practices for new employees. So socialization practices, because it happens with almost everyone. The moment we change our workplace, we are into a new organization. It's very difficult for us to communicate very easily or just behave as though we are already acquainted with this particular place. So it takes some time. So socialization practices are also essential for the new employees. So moving on to the next, methods for maintaining the organization structure. These are some of the methods, what managers and teams pay attention to. So what is that they desire or they expect? So that is important. Some reactions to organizational crisis. So it's not that the whatever crisis at the organization level happens, it is applicable only for the top management people and not applicable for the other stakeholders who are in the lower layer of the hierarchy. So it's applicable to as a whole, as the organization. So managerial role modeling, this is also important because role modeling, the role model or the role plays, what we generally use, as one of the method of assessment, even for a few of the subjects. This becomes important, if the managerial role or the manager role is being played by somebody else, how that particular person takes a decision, how good or how effective is he in decision making, whether his decision making or his the services or the functionalities, whether it will be helping the organization to attain or achieve the objectives. So all those things will come into picture. And what are the criteria or the strategies for rewards and criteria for, again, strategies for selection as well as promotion, hikes, appraisal, and organizational rights, ceremonies, and stories. So all these things comprise the main methods of how to maintain the organizational culture. And this in turn is followed by recruitment of employees who definitely fit the culture, because nobody wants a person, a wrong person who is placed, or I can put it in this way, uh, wrong person placed cannot be placed in the right place. Okay, something like this. So recruitment of employees who fit the culture becomes very essential. Organization culture is the core part of all these things, and the removal of employees who deviate from culture, because this is something which we generally feel bad, when employees are removed or laid off. But yes, it is a policy, and in order to sustain, the organization benefit, or it could be profit. None of the organization top level management would like to retain such employees who try to deviate from the norms or from the policies what the organization has made, and the culture what they have been followed from long many years, to serve and retain the organization name in the top notch level. So this is the thing. So this was about organization culture, and moving next, types of culture. So since we keep delivering to our students, what is the importance of culture, what is the importance of ethics, and how to cultivate the habits and behavior and stuffs. It becomes very necessary for our students, especially this generation students, to make them familiar what kind of culture exists. So because we are the role models for our students, so if we are familiar with what types of culture exist in today's era, I think giving out that particular information to our dear students somewhere, it will help them to groom as a better individual. So moving on next, types of culture. So there are generally four types of culture, as you can see in the diagram, which is towards the leftmost side. So these are some of the competing values framework. So based on these four types of culture, a lot of assessment will be taking place at organization level. So the different types of cultures are clan culture, then aristocracy culture, and hierarchy culture, and market culture. Okay, so each one of it I'll be dealing with in detail in order to get an idea what are the benefits of having that particular culture in the organization, what are the drawbacks, what the culture is all about, and how can we try to have such kind of culture in the organization or in the institution where we are working currently. So if required, you can adopt, okay, any kind of culture. So the competing values framework, it's basically, it depends on four attributes. So as you can see in the diagram towards the left-hand side, flexibility and discretion, okay, and then the stability and control, internal focus and integration, and finally the external focus and differentiation. Yes, flexible is clan culture and advocacy culture. Stable is hierarchy culture and market culture. And the flexible and stable, definitely they depict the formal control orientation. And the internal and external is clan culture is internal, hierarchy culture is again internal. whereas adhocracy culture is external and market culture is also external. And these two, they are forms of attention. So moving on to the first one, that's clan culture. So this is just a pic, which speaks all about clan culture. So I'll just give you 1 or 2 minutes. You can just see what's happening here exactly, because observation is more important. And if we all are keen observers, we can see what is this kind of culture, clan culture, what is happening all about here. So you can see it's a very flexible kind of environment. Everybody is involved in everything. Okay, that is what we can, some takeaways instantly based on our observations. So yes, a clan culture is people focused. So in the sense that the company feels like one big happy family. Okay, as we saw in the picture in the previous slide. And this is a highly collaborative work environment where every individual is valued and communication is a top priority. So individually, everybody is the, or I can say it in this way, everybody owns the ownership. Okay, that would be more appropriate. And communication is the top priority. And clan culture is often paired with a horizontal structure. So as I was mentioning, it is not the conventional, hierarchical structure, the triangle what we all are familiar with respect to Maslow's, hierarchy. It is a horizontal structure which helps to break down barriers between the C-suite. Now, the C-suite is, something all those highly rated designations like chief executive officer, chief controlling officer, all those people who are at the highest level, they are generally termed as C-suite. Okay, so it completely breaks the barriers between the C-suite and the employees because everybody owns the organization, everybody owns the ownership. So that is the clan culture. Encourage mentorship opportunities, and these companies are action oriented and they embrace change, a testament to their highly flexible nature. So generally it's like a mentorship opportunity because each one mentors the other. Okay, and everything is received wholeheartedly with a high sense of appreciation. This is the culture, clan culture. So primary focus is based on mentorship and teamwork with respect to clan culture. So what qualities it defines, the clan culture? Flexibility and discretion, as well as internal focus and integration. This is again based on the competing values, framework, which I had shown in the previous two slides, the diagram. And the motto of the clan culture is "We are all in this together." So that would be the motto of people working in the clan culture. And the benefits would be definitely clan class cultures. They boast high rates of employee engagement because everybody owns the ownership. Then the amount of dedication, the amount of commitment becomes equally shared. So each and every employee is involved even in decision making. Also, it is not that only disseminating the information; it is also individually they include themselves even in decision making. So happy employees make for happy customers. I think this particular line is very nice and pleasing to hear as well as read. Happy employees make for happy customers. Highly adaptable environment, great possibility for market growth. But yes, anything or everything, whatever it comes, it comes in both the packages. That is pros and cons. So when we have seen the benefits, we shall see even what are the drawbacks. So a family style corporate culture is difficult to maintain as the company grows. Okay, as the size or as the number of employees in the organization grow, it becomes very difficult. So plus with the horizontal leadership structure, day-to-day operation can seem cluttered and lacking direction. Okay, that is there because some drawbacks with respect to clan culture. Because horizontal leadership, everybody is a leader, everybody wants to involve in giving giving suggestions, making decisions. Somewhere it will lead to confusion. Everybody is confused, and they will never come to a common conclusion. So some problems or drawbacks with respect to clan culture. So where you'll find clan culture? So it's adaptable, definitely team oriented with a horizontal structure. And it's no surprise that clan cultures are often seen in startups. So now this is the era where all the students want to have their own ventures, own startups. Everybody wants to become entrepreneurs. So I think This is the culture for our students who intends to get graduated maybe in a year or so, or who already graduated. Okay. So young organizations that are just starting out put a heavy emphasis on collaboration and communication, and leadership looks to employees for feedback and ideas. Then companies prioritize team building. So this is where we can see the clan culture. Now, very importantly, how to create this kind of a culture within your organization. So it all depends on you. How would you like to take it, and how would you like to, implement it in your workplace, or it could be in your institution or organization. To cultivate a clan culture within your company, your first step is to turn to your employees. Communication, as informed already, is vital to a successful clan culture. So let your team know that you are open to feedback. Find out what they value, what they would like to see the change, what is that change or innovation they would like to have, what ideas they have, and definitely help them to push those ideas in the form of happening it in the form of reality. And step two is what? Take your thoughts into account and put them into action. You have the idea, so see to it that that particular idea is executed and brought into action. So this is how I think if we follow these two steps, we can make our organization or our workplace where we work currently as a clan culture. It's difficult, definitely. That is the reason. Initially itself, I quoted that cultivating any practice or any habit takes minimum 18 days to 200 odd days. So yes, next. So moving further, type 2, that is adhocracy culture. So we'll just see, on based on the same parameters what we saw with respect to clan culture, what is adhocracy culture. So you can see here, adhocracy culture. Okay, just take 1 or 2 time, 1 or 2 minutes, and see the pic, and whatever you feel like, because we know we all are faculty members, we all are keen observers, in fact, and good listeners as well. Okay, so we'll just see. Okay, I think sufficient. Okay, so advocacy culture. So I think now you can just correlate yourself whether your observations, what you made out of the picture, was really up to the mark or almost close to it. So advocacy cultures are rooted in innovation. So innovation, something new. Okay, so these are the companies that are on the cutting edge of the industry. They're looking to develop the next big thing before anyone else has been even started asking the right questions. That is the reason why everyone was with one sheet of paper, or a small sheet of paper with to-do list, and everybody was watching. So to do so, we need to take risk. So taking risk is the main theme, or the central theme of this adhocracy culture. So advocacy cultures, they value individuality in the sense that employees are encouraged to think creatively and bring their ideas to the table. So this is important. So individuality is given more preference. Okay, that employees are encouraged to think out of the box. Okay, so even a person who is abnormal, okay, such abnormal persons also come up with very creative thinking, some out of the box ideas. So because this type of organizational culture falls within the external focus and differentiation category based on the competent value framework, new ideas need to be tied to market growth and company success. So evolution with respect to innovation required to advocacy culture. Okay, that is what I would like to summarize here with respect to advocacy. And the primary focus is, as I said, risk. You need to be ready to take risk. So risk taking and innovation. And this risk taking could be even, in the aspect of investment also. Okay. So ready to take risk with respect to any sector or any different, category. The qualities which define flexibility and discretion, external focus and differentiation. And what would be the motto? Risk it to get the biscuit. So it's like, whenever you take a biscuit and dip it in the hot tea, it becomes very soft and easy to consume, right? So you take the risk, and rest of the things, goes on very smoothly. That is what the meaning is out of it. So the benefits, yes, an adhocracy culture contributes to high profit margins and notoriety. So employees stay motivated with the goal of breaking the mold. Plus, with the focus on creativity and new ideas, professional development opportunities are easy to justify. So I think it was self-explanatory, in fact, the advantages. And the drawbacks, yes, a risk is a risk always. So there's always a chance that a new venture won't pan out and may even hurt your business. Okay, it might uh, put you under a huge loss. It could be again the loss could be in terms of financial or emotional. Okay, whatever it is. Okay, it is a loss because we the team or the team which was working as per the adhocracy culture were ready to take up the risk. So, and adhocracy cultures can also foster competition between employees as the pressure to come up with new ideas mounts. Okay, this is important because giving your best, in a team, it always leads to competition. If the competition is a healthy competition, then everybody would, survive and sustain. But if the competition becomes, not the healthy competition, then I think it affects even in the performance also. Okay, so that is what I can say based on whatever my experience is. So next, where you'll find advocacy culture. So you can just think of Google or Facebook or well-established, the top-notch organizations, because the people there who work at the top level, everybody is an innovator. Every day they would like to come up with some new idea. They would like to take up that particular risk. They would like to implement it. They would like to, put it on the floor, okay, and introduce it in the market. They don't think of what would be the market demand, what would be the loss. So it's like literally taking risk. And these are the companies that embody the external focus and risk-taking nature of advocacy culture. And they run on creative energy, so that is there, and doing what hasn't been done before, something new, innovate yourself. And advocacy cultures are commonplace within the ever-changing technical industry where new products are being developed and released on a regular basis. Next, so how to create this particular culture within your organization? So depending on what sort of organization or industry we are in, so it may be hard to develop an authentic advocacy culture that includes a high-risk business strategy. Because if I have to relate this, with respect to education institution, then implementing, ideas, individual ideas might not be applicable because again, most of our institutions are, they are affiliated to some university, VT university, or it could be an autonomous university. So they have some, guidelines or some boundary defined, with respect to what to be done, what not to be done, and what is the frequency of, or what is the period of refinement, if at all there is a need for refinement or, changing something. So it is difficult, and nobody will generally try to take risk, in the educational sector, especially. However, implementing strategy and brainstorming sessions provide employees with the opportunity to share big ideas that can help to propel the company further. But still, receiving ideas from employees would be a greater advantage. I would like to add it this way because we don't know, as I was mentioning, anybody could become an out of box thinker. And if that particular idea initially, even though people don't want to take it further, don't want to implement, don't want to execute it, but still, the later stage, when they take the risk of implementing it, and when they, get the desired fruitful results, then a lot of appreciation will go into. So not all ideas can be taken, but I think even the ideas, they have to be assessed. They have to, the ideas should be checked with respect to their feasibility, pros and cons again. So a lot of things, a lot of things with respect to this kind of culture. And rewarding successful ideas encourages teams to think outside the box. Yes, as I mentioned, some sort of rewarding should be there, rewards or the perks or the appraisals or the promotions, whatever needs to be there. And moving on to the next type three is the market culture. So this is the relevant diagram or the picture what I could get for the market culture. Yes. So market culture prioritizes profitability. So as the keyword itself is present with the name, the type of the culture, market culture. So everything is prioritized with respect to profit. Okay, and everything is evaluated with the bottom line in mind. So people don't want to take this. Whatever is being justified or which has been already proven. People would like to go with respect to that, and they always look, in terms of profit. So each position has an objective that aligns with the company's larger goal, and there are often several degrees of separation between employees and leadership roles. These are result-oriented organizations that focus on external success rather than internal satisfaction. And definitely, a market culture stresses or gives more importance, with respect to the meeting quotas or reaching targets and getting results. So this particular culture, they definitely work, upon targets. How quickly you can achieve the target. The primary focus is yes, competition and growth in order to sustain your company or your organization in the competitive world. What you could do. That is the main objective of this particular type of culture, market culture. So competition and growth. And defining qualities are stability and control, as well as external focus and differentiation with respect to the competent levels of assessment, what we had seen earlier. And the motto is we are in it to win it. Okay. So the motto is something nice. We are in it to win it. So benefits, companies that boast market cultures are generally profitable and successful because the entire organization is externally focused. There is a key objective where employees can get behind and work towards. Okay, so it is externally focused because you don't have that internal, internal stability there. You have an external control. So it's always, there is a provision for the employees who work under this particular culture, always to go back and refine or reiterate and see to that particular thing which was gone wrong. You correct, you rectify, and come back. So that is the benefit. And drawbacks, definitely, on the other hand, because there's a number, tied to every decision, project, and position within the company, it can be difficult for employees to meaningfully engage with your work and live out their professional purpose because there's a number tied because everybody is looking for profit. It could be like you get the profit or the turnovers for the particular company, so and so. The revenue generation for the company. These many lakhs per annum. Then this is the reward, for you what you are supposed to get, or this would be the commission what you are supposed to deserve, something of that kind. So numbers are attached with each and everything. So sometimes it becomes difficult to meet out the expectations with respect to the professional objective. And yes, where you will find the market culture. The goal of a market culture company is to be the best in its industry. So as I was mentioning, so just to emerge as the best leaders, such companies they generally work with this type of culture, and because of that, these are often larger companies that are already leaders of the pack. Okay, so it is not that this particular culture can be started even in startups. No, so well-established companies, which are established, which are sustaining in the global competitive market, on demand for a long number of years, or for many number of years, such huge companies or larger companies with maximum staff members or employees or human resources, they can immediately switch over to such kind of a culture, and they are looking to compete and beat out anyone else that may compare. And how to create this culture within your organization, because every aspect of a market culture is tied to the company's bottom line, and start by evaluating each position within your organization. Calculate the ROI, return of investment of every role, and ascribe or describe the reasonable benchmarks for the production. Consider rewarding top performers to encourage the similar work. So the last culture or the last hierarchy, last type of culture, what we will see is hierarchy culture. So, yes, so I'll just pause here. This is the relevant diagram which depicts hierarchy culture. So I don't know how many of you people agree or disagree. If I make a statement that almost all the education institutions work under this particular culture, there could be a debate. In fact, so I don't want to get into the debate. It's only my viewpoint, my perception from my side. So whatever you feel like, you can put it to, or you can fit your organization in any one of the culture. Okay, so hierarchy culture. The key points are: companies with hierarchy cultures adhere to the traditional corporate structure, and these are companies focused on internal organization by way of a clear chain of command and multiple management tiers that separate employees and leadership. So, tiers, or two-tier hierarchy or three-tier hierarchy, depending upon how many sections or how many layers are there in the hierarchy. So based on that, the decisions are taken or the policies are drafted, and even the amount of information which is to be disseminated between the layers or between the tiers, even that there is a restriction even for that as well. So in addition to this rigid structure, there's often a dress code for employees to follow. Yes, dress code is good. It looks very aesthetic, but yes, it's a rigid structure. And hierarchy cultures have set a way of doing things which makes them stable and risk averse. The primary focus is structure and stability. And what are the qualities which define the hierarchy culture? Stability and control, internal focus and integration. And the motto is get it done right. So, get it done right is the motto of hierarchy culture. And the benefits are generally with internal organization as a priority. Hierarchy cultures have clear direction. Okay, at least a proper direction will be set with respect to what you people are supposed to do and what is the timeline for submission. So there are some well-defined processes which is to be followed and adhered to that cater to the company's main objective. And drawbacks are definitely the rigidity of hierarchy cultures, which leaves little room or no room at all, or no space for creativity, making these companies relatively slow to adapt. Okay, adaptation is very difficult because a change to be introduced or change to be brought into the workplace is difficult. It is slow and steady, but it takes time. It takes its own time. The company takes precedence over the individual, which doesn't necessarily encourage employee feedback. Where you'll find such hierarchy culture. So hierarchy cultures can be found at both ends of the corporate spectrum, from the good old school organizations to those of the customer service industry, such as fast food restaurants. Good, at least here they have used example as fast food restaurants. So these are companies that are hyper focused on how day-to-day operations are carried out, and aren't interested in changing things up anytime soon. Okay, so that's what I was mentioning about. There could be a change, but not immediately or not instantly. It will take its own pace time to be brought into, or to bring those change into effective manner. And how to create this particular culture within your organization. We need not try, because I think almost all we all are into this culture already. The first step of establishing a hierarchy culture is to button up your process. Okay, you can define your process well in advance. Then, if the chain of command has some gaps, then fill them. Okay, so that is the thing first step. And secondly, consider every team and department to ensure that they have clear long and short term goals. I think now, since almost all the institutions, we have undergone the process of NBA, or it could be a NAC, directly or indirectly, involved in it. But still, we are familiar with what are the terms or the long term and short term goals we need to frame with respect to department or with respect to institution. I think till that particular point, those were the four different types of cultures, okay, which extensively exist globally, okay. with respect to any organization or any institution you consider for that matter. So that was about organizational culture and types of culture. Moving next, with respect to top 7 behavioral skills. So behavior, as I was mentioning, it's an act which is made by a person or an individual, how you behave in the workplace, how you reciprocate yourself or your expressions, your feelings, and there are some skills required for that. So these are some of the top 7 behavioral skills. I might have not included all, so whatever I felt top 7 I've just included. So first and foremost, very important, communication. So clear communication is vital in establishing work culture and patterns in an office space or a similar environment. So nowadays, whatever statements we make, it has dual meanings. Okay, the perception or the people who receive those statements, they either think in this way or that way. Okay, it could be like both positive or negative based on the statement or communication whatever you have done. Okay, so the communication should be very clear. It should not be ambiguous, which leads to confusion. Finally, which leads to a lot of non-collaborative work process. So communication should be very clear, crystal clear, in fact. Okay, so that everything is understood by the people who are on the receiving side. Okay, that would be an added advantage. Communication. Conflict resolution. So employers should remain aware of potential conflict and be active in entering and facilitating these more emotional interactions. So wherever team work comes into picture, there are some instances where all the team members might agree, for a common resolution which is passed within the team. Or there might be, it could be like one or two team members or team entities, they are not happy with what resolution has been passed by the team. So if such situation arises, then it is the whole and soul responsibility of the employer, how to handle the situation without affecting their, it could be, what to say, emotionally, we have to tackle them as well as, it should not be affected even to the organization core values as well as best practices. So the conflict resolution, how well the conflicts are resolved or addressed, that becomes very important. And definitely, the conflicts might lead, to a much better productive work later once the resolution, it's been resolved, the conflict is resolved. Or it could be the other way around. It could affect the work performance from the team so badly that whatever they were intended to deliver, neither, they were not, they are not delivering that. Okay, so it could be both the aspects might be taken into consideration. Next, work life balance. So now, since we all are working professionals, we do have a personal life, and I think this particular word, work life balance, I think yesterday also our principal sir, even sir, was also mentioning work life balance. So we have to encourage employees to focus and give 100% effort during work time, then allow them to focus on personal life outside of work hours, which help them keep the work life balance and clear. So we have to draw a line, between a very thin line, in fact, between the personal life and the professional life. And if we are not able to balance between these two, uh, the most prominent, ones in individual life, the work life as well as the personal life, then it becomes very difficult. Neither we can give our best to any one of those categories. And yes, time management. So removing distractions. Okay, time management now, it is like, now it's become a habit. Now most of the, I won't say faculty members, but nowadays generation, students, especially nowadays students, they are very much attracted, or they are flown away with respect to social media and using the high end gadgets, whether they use it for informative things to grab or for what, we don't know, but they are addicted, sometimes, and they get distracted a lot. And with respect to these, we have seen a lot many funny things which has been roaming around in the social media. So we have to distract ourselves from all those things. If we have set our mind to do something within this particular timeline, from 11 to 12, I will be completing this particular work, and if that is being set and if that is the topmost thing which is listed on your to-do list, then I think all those external distractions or external factors should not disturb you in order to complete that particular task, and only then you deviate yourself for other things. So removing distractions such as cell phones and social media is one way to ensure employees stay on schedule. But in cases such as remote work from home, and now most of us, even sometimes we feel work from home is also not that easy. Okay, not that easy. It is difficult. Again, it depends on under what circumstances you are, and you are delivering your services from home. Okay, it depends, because not every day is a Sunday. Okay, so yes, outside the traditional office spaces, and you will have to focus on promoting good practices through more stubborn means. And next one, self improvement. Yes, good employees want to grow and be challenged. So that is where we have the caption, upskill and reskill yourself. Okay, because if we are not upgrading ourselves, or if we are not reskilling ourselves with respect to whatever skill set we acquire, then I think one fine day we will be termed as outdated. Okay, not updated. So I think self improvement is very essential. So good employees, they generally want to grow from all the direction, 360 degrees growth. They would generally like to have, and they would like to even take challenging tasks. So I think challenges need to be taken not on everyday basis, but when there is a need, I think some challenging task we need to take, and we need to prove ourselves that yes, I am capable of doing even this also. I think that is essential. That I think it really helps even in our profile building also. That people start talking about that yes, so and so particular faculty, or she or he is capable of doing even this. So how it really helps you to uh, what to say, you can enhance your curriculum vitae as well by adding those challenging tasks or whatever you have done in your tenure period. Next, stress management and resilience are very important, because since we all are managing both work life as well as personal life, a lot of stress, especially, and I have to make a special, statement for all the lady participants here, including me. Yes, more stress for the ladies, because we have to take care of family, and we are the home minister back and there at home. A lot of stress, in fact, and how we manage stress, and how we give equal time to everything, and also see to it that by the end of the day we have completed all the tasks assigned to us. Okay, that is one thing. But that doesn't mean that the gents are not capable of doing it. Even they are also capable of doing it. But only thing, what my intent is, to manage the stress. Okay, rather than having a diverse effect or adverse effect on your own health, that would not lead to an what to say, productive output. So your employees have to learn how to confront the problems the stress is originating from, and actively work to resolve it. So now I think stress management, yes, now most of the institutions have started, with respect to meditations or some stress bursting activities or stress relieving activities. So I think it's nice, because people have started thinking about their employees. Even they want their employees to be, to lead a happy and healthy life. Okay, at least mentally and physically both. Patience, yes. Help employees see the long term benefits that working for your company will bring by helping them develop a career pathway. So I think patience is very important, because jumping to a conclusion, or uh, coming up to a decision, or making a decision and putting it on somebody else will not be that appropriate. So having patience and grounded and humbled, I think these good qualities, or as a behavioral skill, if we adopt, I think we will be very calm, and we will be very ground to down to earth, in fact grounded. So patience is required for all of us. Yes, I think those were the essential behavioral skills, 7 behavioral skills what I could so cultivating a culture that values learning is hard work, because again, yes, not everything will be got easily, because people might speak, that uh, yes, it was an easy thing, or it was like icing on the cake. So it was that easy for that particular person to get something or to achieve something, but nobody knows the hard work, the amount of trouble, the amount of pain the person would have taken back end to achieve whatever the person is at present. So it is difficult, it is a hard work, in fact, to cultivate those cultures. And definitely, yes, to some extent, if we practice, it is definitely going to help us. And for many organizations, it will require a significant change in the mindset and approach. So I think, yes, change in the mindset is required. I will never say that the change in the mindset or the attitude is applicable only for the employees or the stakeholders, which who belong to the lower level tiers, in the hierarchy or in any kind of culture. It is applicable even for the topmost management also. The mindset, the change in the mindset, looking things from the different perspective, looking things from a different attitude. Okay, so that is required. And this includes the need to challenge the basic assumptions and undo past practice and viewpoints about the purpose and value of data. So maybe uh, some practices or some assumptions or some policies which has been drafted at the organization level need to, a high time to be relooked, redrafted, and see to it that ultimately it is benefiting the maximum community of the organization, who are the employees. Employees are different levels. And yes, as mentioned, these changes will take time, because um, nothing can happen, overnight. So I think only overnight our students can study for internals. One night out they will study for internals. So it is not that kind. Changes need some time. It will take its own time to implement, in fact, to plan, to implement, to execute, to take the feedback. It takes time. But as the saying goes, somebody should take the lead for the change, which could be evolutionary or it could be revolutionary. So I think taking that lead is required. So organizational cultures are complex, dynamic, and unique to each nonprofit organization. So it depends. So different organization cultures already being followed, already being practiced. It some could be complex, some could be dynamic. Okay, where adaptability comes into picture. Some could be very unique, some could be very bizarre. Very weird. In fact, it all depends. In what kind of organization we are working, what are the cultures which is being followed conventionally. So it depends in different contexts. So there is no one size fits all. This is important. So we cannot try fitting one thing, to all the organizations, or the approach, which is being followed. Definitely, incremental changes will be rewarded with a strengthened organization, which is able to achieve again higher performance levels of the people and for the community, where we serve. So this is important. Ultimately, performance matters, and if the performance is rewarded, it is nice. Otherwise, still, if the performance is identified with only some appreciation words, that is also good. Okay. Next, yes, I think this I wanted to add, especially at the end. Uh, I just want to read it out, okay? Having grown up, I realized that so called punishments from my beloved teachers were full of virtues and great learnings. So, stand up on the bench. So, this was. This is all with respect to the punishments what we would have taken, we have taken, during our childhood days. And this, in fact, was shared by my mentor. So I felt like discussing with you people also. So stand up on the bench. So is usually which meant to take a holistic view, look at the big picture. Hold your ears. It is to listen more. Listen keenly. Kneel down is for humility. Finger on your lips is boast less or speak. Don't speak irrelevantly. Clean the blackboard. It's forget and forgive. Start with a fresh state or a fresh beginning, new beginning. Touch your toes, be flexible. That is what it meant for. And murga bano is physical endurance. Stand with hands up, aim high and reach higher. Stand facing the wall, introspection. Write down a line 25 times. This is only to make or work towards perfection. Detained after the school, don't join the rat race. Stand outside the class. Through observation, take a world wide look. So I think these are the cultures what is already being inculcated within us, and definitely this culture what we have inculcated, I dedicate it to all the faculty community who are the participants of this particular FDP, so that they in turn go and deliver and spread the message to students, and it is required. I think this is the order of the day required, where our students are deviating completely from the moral values or the ethics or the behavior or the respect what they have towards their elders as well as to their younger ones. So I think required. Okay, that is why a special dedication to all the faculty members. What we have learned and what we intend to deliver it or pass on to our next generation or the students. So these are some of the references what I have referred for preparing the slides. And now I can take up some questions, if any. Any questions, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. No questions from the session.
Okay, ma'am. Fine.
Okay, ma'am. Like to conclude, ma'am. So,
Yes.
can I ask one question, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, ma'am. That's the reason I am here. Okay, you can ask, ma'am.
Okay. So, I just wanted the concept of you told one concept that is ethics plus behavior is equal to culture.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I just want few more lines about it now. Ethics
Okay.
plus behavior is equal to culture.
Mm-hmm. So as I was already mentioning, ethics is again, based on what values or what attitudes we have generally. Okay. And it all depends on whether we have the ability to take a decision, what is right and what is wrong. If we have that particular capability of identifying what is right and what is wrong, definitely we will, stick on to that particular thing and we have ethics within us. And once we have the decision making capability between what is right and what is wrong, that will be reflected in our behavior. So that is the reason ethics is essential in order to have our individual behavior, whether it could be in the workplace or it could be in at home, anywhere, for that matter. Behavior speaks, any individual's behavior speaks what kind of moral values the person is having or acquiring in fact. So once the behavior, based on the moral values, what the person is having, he or she starts behaving, then the place, surrounding place, the people who are surrounded with that particular person definitely will start following that. Start following as well as start practicing. So culture is, a common set of people, a group of people who try to follow some practices and see to it that it is being preached as well as followed. So that is when the culture, it becomes a culture. So that is what I would like to, say based on whatever diagram I had put. I
Yes,
hope I am convinced. I have convinced you with respect to your question, what you have asked.
yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So, would you like to conclude, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. First and foremost, I would like to thank Dr. Vijayashree Madam for giving me an opportunity to be as a resource person for 2-week AICT sponsored faculty development program. And also, I would like to thank all the participants for being patient enough to listen my presentation. I was expecting some questions, but it's okay, no issues. And last but not the least, I really want to thank my management as well as principal sir for giving the opportunity and choosing me to become the resource person for this 2-week FTP program. Thank you, ma'am.
It was really a wonderful session, ma'am. The concepts were very clear and informative. As there is a saying that pictures depict everything, so you have explained with the pictures, so the concepts were very clear. And listening to the session, we have learned how the importance is to adopt the culture, the types of culture, and the self-assessment qualities, and the seven types of behaviors how to adopt in our day-to-day life. I would like to thank you, ma'am, for
Thank you,
sharing.
ma'am. Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure.